Alright. Good morning, goddammit. Piss and Vinegar Day 118. Leg day. So, today was pretty cool. Strength felt really high today. Don't know what was going on. With the deadlift, I tried a slightly different technique. I tried keeping my chest totally down, and keeping my upper back rounded, whilst then really trying to, I guess, essentially twerk the hips or create as much spinal flexion as I could. And it was weird. Some reps just felt so buttery and easy and just so not problematic, which the deadlift always feels like for me. And then, like, there was one rep here where I was like, what the fuck is that? And I tried emulating it. I tried like 5 or 6 reps trying to emulate the exact same form. And then I couldn't. And then I was like, was it in my head or what the fuck? Like, I don't know what it was. But anyway, I don't know what happened. Here I had the belt too high up. If my belt's too high up, I get this kind of like burning sensation in my groin. I don't know how to explain it. I've had it ever since I was a kid. I don't exactly know what it is, but basically, if the belt's too high up, I get this crazy burning sensation. But yeah, with this deadlift in the warm up, there was one specific rep where I'm like, fuck me, man. If I could emulate that exact alignment or whatever technique I was using, I feel like I could blast out way more weight. So I don't know what happened. I don't know which rep it was. I can't remember. Maybe I'll see here and try to figure out what I did differently. I can't really see what I'm doing from this angle, but one rep just felt like super easy. I don't know if it was the first one. Maybe it's the third one. I'm not sure. Even if I catch it, I don't really have an idea. Yeah, I kept trying to figure out how I did it. But anyway, and then when I did the actual top set, I felt really good. The camera cut out though. But the other thing with this leg day was, yeah, I kept trying to emulate it and I just couldn't. And then I was like misfiring my muscles. I couldn't even fucking lift what's my warm up weight. So there's something deeply wrong with my deadlift. But anyway, so yeah, I had fuck all time today to do legs, and I kind of cut out some of the accessories that are somewhat optional, albeit they do have quite a bit of benefit. Like my Nordic curls, they're not so much for strength. Oh, sorry, they're not so much for size or necessarily strength. They're more for performance. They're to carry over to my tendons kind of output for sprints, and then my Bulgarian split squat. That's much more for my glutes and much more for fixing the imbalance in my left and right leg, which doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. So this was a weird set. The first rep I did on this deadlift felt like no weight at all. I don't know what the fuck happened. It didn't feel like 170 kilos. It felt like fucking 30. I don't know. I don't know what happened. And then all of a sudden it just got hard again. And then it got harder and harder. And then by the end, my lower back was giving out. And the camera cut. Oh, I've accidentally cut the video. But anyway, I don't know what the fuck happened there. I'm onto something, and hopefully I can figure out what it is, because if I can, I think my deadlift will shot up easily 3, 4, you know, maybe not 3, 4 times, but 30, 40 kilos easily. This shit it felt unbelievably easy. And what it really was it took the load off my lower back. Whatever this alignment was, this joint alignment that just was perfected for me. My limiting factor on this is very much my lower back, and whatever happened with these reps, my lower back was no longer the limiting factor, and my legs could just shoot the weight up like not a fucking problem, which is then demonstrable in my next exercise. Not this one. This is my squat. So I'm up to the 3-plate squat again, which is cool. I only did one set because I didn't have enough time. And this is kind of a milestone anyway. Next week I'll go back to the 3 sets of 5. But in my belt squat today, my legs are getting so strong, like so much stronger, so quickly. My belt squat went up from 130 to 150 today. I did it one set, and I did like fucking 20 reps, and it was just too many reps. And I jumped it up 15 kilos and did a second set whilst pre-exhausted. And yeah, like, I don't know, the legs are getting way stronger. The lower back is just the limiting factor, because on these barbell squats and deadlifts, that's the limiting factor. But with the belt squats, there's no lower back limiting factor. So, my leg strength is way bigger on my belt squat, and it's going up way quicker. But I'm seemingly finding, some success with my lower back. It seems to get stronger. My ability to align my joints and everything so that my lower back isn't the limiting factor is getting better too. So, yeah. And overall, regardless of lack of, total output due to a dysfunctional back or whatever. Like my squat and deadlifts are still progressively overloading, albeit I feel like they could be a lot higher if I could, figure out what the fuck's going on with my lower back. But I'm not too unhappy. I'm not unhappy with my squat. My squat's doing pretty decent. 140 is not too bad. And the deadlift being 170 for like I think it was 6 or 7 reps today. That's not too bad either. So yeah, and my 1 rep max strength is a hell of a lot more than my rep strength because again, for 1 rep max, your lower back there's not enough reps for my lower back to start to fatigue really quickly. So my deadlift is 170, but I'd imagine the 1 rep max now is 210, 220 easy. But as soon as I start repping out weights, it just becomes the lower back that's the limiting factor, and it's either too dangerous to keep going or just straight up my lower back is just too fatigued. But yeah, this set here, this is 135 kilos, which is 5 kilos more than last session, but it was just too light. I just did so many fucking reps. The cardiovascular system was the limiting factor because I'm a little bit unfit, I think, or at least I'm unfit relative to what I would like to be. But, it's granted to happen when you bulk up, 15 kilos, but I definitely need to start doing more steady state cardio and really putting more effort into my high intensity cardio. But either way, the limiting factor here was more so my breath. I couldn't do, I kept having to pause at the top and it was just too many reps. So adding 15 kilos and that felt more reasonable. So yeah, the legs are getting stronger and that's all good. And the legs are getting way bigger. The glutes are getting almost too big for my aesthetic goals. I might need to kind of hold off on the Bulgarian split squats for a bit because the glutes are just looking a bit comical in the mirror relative to my unbelievably undeveloped hamstrings, which are still having a hard time building up strength in, but we'll see how it goes. Now, my left leg is still quite a bit smaller than my right leg. It's relatively the same strength now, but the size is just not there, especially in my left hamstring. It looks like it's atrophied. It's like, I don't know if it's a sciatic issue that I have because I have a lot of sciatica through my left leg. But sciatica really shouldn't affect the quadriceps, but yeah, my left quad is far less developed. And my glute is even a little bit underdeveloped. Calves not so much. So yeah, I'm still going to do the Bulgarian split squats, a decent amount just to try and catch my left leg up to my right leg because I do Bulgarian split squats left leg only to try and catch up the size and strength. But at least the strength is there now. At least they're both kind of functioning correctly, which has made my squat and deadlift a lot more easier to progress and just function better. But yeah, this was 150 kilos, and yeah, this felt a lot more reasonable weight-wise. Oh no, so what it was 140, and then I'm like, what happened here? I feel like I can't remember now. Actually, I think I can't actually remember what it was. I think it's 150 either way, because the problem is I have to put a weight on one side of this contraption because it kind of rolls over otherwise. But anyway, I'm almost certain it was 150. I guess we'll find out next week when I go at it again. I'll try 150 once again. But yeah, a few things I missed out here today. I didn't do the Nordic curls. I didn't do the Bulgarian split squats. But I did everything that is optimal for hypertrophy. So the belt squats in order to get my quads, the hamstring curls in order to get my hamstrings, and the squats to get just stronger at the squats. It's not so much about getting size. And the deadlift is not quite taken a failure, so it's not that ideal for hypertrophy, but I'm sure because of the systemic damage or the unbelievable amount of stress that it puts on your system, there's definitely going to be some growth from these deadlifts, regardless if you take it to failure or not, of which I can't because I can't safely take it to failure because my lower back gives out the first thing. So, yeah, either way, though, it's still a pretty good workout. And just busy. But oh man, what was I going to say? And this is probably a bit more reminiscent of what my leg days will look like in a year from now when I've hit these strength standards I'm happy with, and I just want to maintain them with machines or high intensity methods, because maintaining strength with high intensity is pretty easy, and it's not even a maintenance thing because let's say it's to a 200 kilo squat, a 250 kilo deadlift, which is kind of the goal. And then I start just doing, say, belt squats and leg presses and leg extensions and stuff. Hopefully by then, in a year from now, I'll have more leg day equipment so I can hit my legs to failure a lot more efficiently. But anyway, let's say I get to those lifts, 200 and 250, and then I just stop doing those lifts and I just start doing machine work. Those lifts will still indirectly get stronger. It's just that I won't have the neurological adaptation. So the thing, this has been happening with my bench press, right? I don't do flat barbell bench press, or at least I hadn't been until about a month ago. And yet, just from increasing the strength of my chest through other compound movements like dips and incline presses, my bench press went up by proxy. Now, nowhere as much as it would if I say did benching 2 to 3 times a week with a bunch of volume and, deloading and concurrent training and periodization and undulation and, speed work and all this shit to milk as much neurological adaptations as I possibly could. But it still went up. So let's say I get to a 200 kilo squat, I stop squatting for a while and I just do leg presses, and then I try to squat once again. The squat might be the same, it might be slightly weaker, but give it a month or two of getting back to getting the technique down and getting the neurological adaptations again. If it's not the same, it will likely be even stronger. So, or even if the neurological adaptations aren't there, just based off the fact that my legs will have gotten stronger from doing leg presses and other high intensity machine work, I'm very positive that or at least very confident that my squat will maintain, if not get stronger. And this is demonstrable for a lot of high intensity trainers who stop doing squats, just do leg presses and shit, and then they just to make a point. Jay Vincent did this recently. He went back to doing squats for like a week, and his squat was fucking like 180 kilos, which is an elite level squat. And he was doing it for reps comfortably. And then, a week later, it was like even higher than that, because then he was starting to make neurological adaptations. So, yeah, I'm going to get to a certain level of strength with the lifts that I want for at least my ego reasoning. And then I'll just maintain it through high intensity on, machines and shit. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow for more Piss and Vinegar. Bye-bye.